Hi friends. So let's go into the class from where we had left in the last lecture. So in the last lecture we were discussing about pricing. We just started with pricing. So we looked into the importance of pricing and how pricing is a very important part of the marketing mix, and how important it is because just because a slight change in price, either reducing the price or increasing the price, can make tremendous effect on any business organization. And as I had told you, a Harvard study had said that keeping all other things constant, if you increase the price of a good by 1%, the profitability of the company goes up by 11%. So from there we can understand that pricing is a very important phenomena. It is not only, it becomes more important in the B2B space just because because as I had said, a one B2B product, if you look at any B2B for as a complex software or a machine or something, it involves several products inside it, subcomponents, and this each component has its own price again. So because of that, the pricing the final product becomes little challenge. Okay. And again there are issues like customization and all these factors. Last class we also discussed about the role of setting price, how to set the price, right. So creating a price window and setting the initial price and then communicating the price to the market, which are very important things. So today we will continue from there, how to set the price, what is price setting process. So in the price setting process, few steps are involved. For example, selecting the pricing objective. Now what is the objective of the price? Now when the company let us say fixes a price, it has to understand why a particular price, right. As I showed you in that let us say case, for example, this is the window, right. So this is the window. So the price can be placed anywhere, right, can be placed anywhere. Now where should the price be placed? So the marketer has to decide this on the basis of its objective. Some companies may go for a low price so that they can penetrate deep into the market. Some may think of maximizing their profits immediately. So depends on what kind of a, somebody may go for a survival. What is your objective? Then secondly, it is about determining the demand in the market, right. What kind of demand is there for the product, right. As I said, B2B products have multiple applications. One machine can produce different types of products, for example. So in that case, how would you price the product, okay, that particular machine? Then estimating the costs. So several costs are involved, for example, raw material cost, labor cost, so several variable costs are involved. Now how do you estimate this cost and how do you incorporate them while setting the price? Finally, next stage is analyzing the competitor also, how the competitors are pricing their products, right, and what offers they are giving and everything. Finally, on basis of all these only we can set the price table. Okay. So let us go one by one. Let us first go to the objective. What can be the major pricing objectives? So the major pricing objectives can be, like, for example, simply it can start with survival. Now just imagine a small company and a large company. Now a small company which has just started into the market, right, it has started production and it has started selling its product in the market. For a few years initially it would like to survive in the market. So it believes that if it can survive first 1-2 year or 3 year, automatically what will happen, its learning capability will increase and it will have better relationship with the suppliers. It can negotiate with the marketers better, the suppliers better, and maybe then they can increase their profits, right. So the initial thing is survival. Survival is not only for new players, it can be also in a situation also. For example, when COVID came into place, right, many industries got insolvent. They were out of business, there were no sales at all. There was supply chain disruption, raw material was not available. So what major companies thought, that even passing of the time and surviving this difficult time is important, and if we can survive this time, then automatically we can make profits in the long run. Second objective could be maximizing your short term profits. So short term profits means there can be a short term strategy, long term strategy. Long term strategy is something which goes for more than 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Short term strategy is something which is within a year or so. So, what is your short term maximizing your short term profit, maximizing your market share. Now, some companies at the cost of their profit, they try to increase the market share. They believe that once we have the market share, that means if we capture almost 50-60% of the market, we would be in a dominant position. And because customers cannot willingly change, because you see what happens in a B2B case, a B2B product, when you purchase a B2B product, there is an assembly cost besides the purchasing cost and all, there is a assembly cost, installation cost, there is a training cost, right. So, all these costs are involved. Now, suddenly if you want to switch to a new supplier or a new product, there is a very high switching from one producer to the other. So, companies realize that if we can create a situation where the the buyer just becomes a customer to us and has some some laid down infrastructure because of this reason, then after that if we increase the price slightly also, they would not switch because the switching cost is more than the increase in cost of the product. Okay. After that, companies can also go for a market skimming strategy where they would like to maximize their benefits as soon as possible, right. And finally is product cost quality leadership. So, some companies would like to be dominant in the market, for example, certain let us say software producers or certain chip manufacturers or certain, let us say, lens manufacturers, they want to be the best in the in terms of their quality, and they want to be technological leaders in the market. Let us talk one by one. Survival. It is a short term objective, right, followed by the companies if the factory production capacity, or not necessarily factory, or any production capacity of any business is underutilized to a large extent. Now, as in COVID, there was no demand. So, underutilization of the capacity was very high. Unsold finished products have piled up. So, the demand was there before that, but after that the products were not selling. So, unsold inventory was very high. Due to intense competition, the firm is unable to sell its products. Sometimes, as I do not know, remember whether I give you this example or not. There was a interesting case of HP versus Apple, right. Now, what happened is HP came up with a kind of a touchpad, a tablet, right, and they thought of beating Apple in the market very soon. They got very large orders from the retail organizations, and everything was going very well, but they had underestimated the capacity of and the capability of Apple, right. Within 2 months of the launch, HP's products were not accepted by the market, and HP had to pull back its that touchpad product. Now, so this is the case where the competition can be very dangerous, and if you do not read your competitors well, it can be extremely lethal. So, to keep the factory going and to convert the inventory to sales, if business firm tends to reduce the price just for survival, right. Sony India dropped prices of its television by up to 20% to increase the demand during the COVID-19 pandemic, right, and launched an online shopping service connecting its exclusive stores across the country. So, even companies had to vehicle, automobile, everywhere you could see that there was a slash in price just to entice the customer to come forward and buy the products. Second objective could be maximizing your short term profits. So, companies with this objective estimate the market demand and costs at alternative prices and select the price that gives them the maximum current profits. Now, the emphasis is on short term profit rather than this long term, right, because the company feels that maybe there is a change in technology that might happen, right, and because of the change in technology, or let us say the competitor coming up with some new technology, our product might lose steam, lose demand. So, let us maximize the profits. You will see this case in maximizing profits in short term profits in largely your pharmaceutical industry and others, right, where they know that competition will catch up very soon. So, they tend to maximize. Even high tech industry, in the high tech industries, they maximize their profits, they skim the profits. Okay. The companies following this objective do not consider competitors' reactions and legal implications. So, they maximize and they try to maximize the profit. Maximizing your market share. Now, here companies with this objective fix the price of the commodities as low as possible. Now, commodities or products whatever, the assumptions are that the market is price sensitive. So, they know that the people are price sensitive and a low price will increase sales. You find this especially in the garment apparel industry, right. So, a slight reduction in price may attract customers in a big way. In grocery items, for example, your regular household items, for example, rice, grains, cereals, whatever you say, right. Highest volume will reduce the production and distribution cost, leading to higher long term profit. So, what the company thinks, for example, if you look at superstores, supermarkets, right, or let us say organizations like Walmart who go into a pricing like everyday low price. Now, why do they go for this method, this system? Because they know that when they give a low price to the customer, the number of customers would increase and the volume of business will increase. So, as a result, what will happen, their production cost and distribution cost will also be coming down, right, economies of scale, as simple as that. Low prices will discourage entry of potential competitors. Now, the competitors cannot enter into the market just because they will not be in a position to supply at such a low price. Maximize your skimming, market skimming. Here the company set high price in the initial stage of the product life cycle, and because as I had said earlier, so it is somewhat like increasing your short term profit. It is somewhat like your increasing the short term profit. So, as the time passes and slow sales goes down, the prices are lowered. Now, Intel is very famous for this. Intel's, if you remember all the Pentium chips and all. So, when it came with Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4. So, initially they kept the price very high, and once the a new Pentium 2 was developed, for example, they would reduce the price of Pentium 1 and launch it and sell it in the market. When Pentium 3 came, Pentium 2 was sold at a lesser price and Pentium 3 was kept very high in the market. So, this was a way of cannibalizing your own product and keeping the product of the recent product, your high recent technology at the highest price. The assumption made is that different prices can be charged to different segments of customers. Sometimes this can be wrong, but generally it has been seen that you can prices for different segments differently. Why? Because the beauty of this B2B industry is that one of the major components of its business is services. Now, you may differentiate your product. For example, we buy, let us say, a software. We can buy a basic software, we can buy a slightly moderately advanced software, or we can buy very highly advanced software for the programmers and all. Now, when you are doing this, automatically the segmentation changes, right, and as per your need you are charging to the customer. The last point is the product quality leadership. Here the company's objective is to produce superior quality product and charge slightly higher than the market, right. This is just to ensure that we are the best. So, the company wants to say that we are the best. Sony would always try to be ahead in the product quality leadership, for example. Intel would be ahead in the product quality leadership. So, these are the companies. Honda will be higher in the, but yeah, some companies have also broken this thinking, this thinking that always higher quality will be higher priced. They have broken this thought process. They have evolved with higher quality with lesser price also, but generally speaking a higher product, higher quality of product will be priced higher. Okay. Now, let us guess the pricing objective. This is an exercise. Okay. A precision tube manufacturing company was dealing with recession in the bicycle industry, which was its target market segment. The factory, which normally worked on 3-shift basis, did not have adequate orders even for one shift, forcing the management to lay off large number of workers. What is the objective of pricing that would be that they would follow? What objective they would have in mind? So, you can think about it. Survival. Now, recently if you have followed the case of Twitter, right. Now, Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, right, and what the first thing that he did was he laid off a large number of employees. There was a severe layoff, right? And in addition, what he has done, he has added, at least for the Indian market, the he has added to the cost of using the Twitter, right. So, somewhere around $8 per month, if I am not wrong, if my value is not wrong, it is around $8 per month. There could be for different segments, it could be different, but at least I remember this one. So, what I am trying to say here is, when survival is your question, you would like to remove the workforce, but sometimes what companies do is they do not lay off the workers, but rather they may uh, produce less and reduce the salary and the wages of the workers. That is possible. Now, let us guess this one. A leading electrical equipment manufacturer developed a transwitch unit, right, which is this one, used in the underground coal mines as an import substitution, right. So, earlier they were importing, now they have manufactured it. The company wanted to recover the product development cost within a few years, so it set the price much lower than the imported equipment. And obviously, without any problem, customers readily accepted the price. Sometimes this can also reverse be possible. That means, what I am trying to say is, in this case the company has reduced the price, sometimes the companies can increase the price, right. That can also be possible. But anyway, what is the pricing objective in this case? Just imagine for a second and tell me. Maximize your short term profits. So, maximum short term profits you want to earn, right. Okay. Now, let us guess this one. Reliance Industry uses a strategy of economies of scale by building large plants, which helps in bringing down the cost. So, the low cost enables the company to set its price as low as possible, right. So, when Reliance came up with this Vimal and they entered into textiles and all, so they created large units, plants with heavy capacity. So, what was the objective of the company then? Penetrate into the market. So, they wanted to make the entire globe their market, because at that time I remember Indian market did not even have the potential to use all the products produced by the other players in the market then. So, when Reliance added up, it was going more than what the nation demanded. So, but they had an eye on the not only the Indian market, but also on the exports market, right. Now, this one, a company brought a new technology to India to join the underground jelly filled telecommunication cables, right. The new technology helped prevent water entering the cable joints, particularly during the rainy season. So, this is a general problem. The company had set high price in the initial year. As the competition increased due to attractive profit margin, the prices were lowered in the subsequent years. So, what was the initial pricing objective of the company? Think about it. Maximize the market skimming. So, you maximize your initial profits because you do not know what will happen next and you did not have a competitor then. Now, again one more. A material handling equipment manufacturer produces superior quality of an equipment called dock leveler, which is used for loading and unloading materials to and from the trucks. Okay. Now, not only the product quality is good, the company also manages to provide superior quality pre-sales and post-sales technical service, right. That means after selling and before selling, good service. The company sets the price of its equipment higher than the competitor's product by almost 20%, and many customers are even willing to pay the higher price and even more than that, right. So, as I said of the price window. Now, what is the pricing objective the company is having? Product quality leadership. So, they want to prove in the market that they are the best. They they make the best product, and that is why they would not compromise on the price. Okay. So, now you have got a clear idea about what is the objective of the company and how the objective of the company can impact the pricing decision of a company, right. So, if you look into several companies, their products and all, you will find this interesting behavior that there is suddenly there is a rise in price, there is a fall in price, there is a the companies come up with some subsidiary auxiliary products and they create a different price point for that. So, companies do a lot of mathematics, a lot of permutation and combination with the price, right? Because setting one price is not such an easy task. It is very, very difficult. Theoretically, we will all say, let us say X is the price, anything above X is profitable, anything below is loss. But how do you manage to get that X, right? Is a challenge. Anyway, with this I will like to wind up today's lecture, and I will continue pricing in the next lecture too, right. Till then, take care and thank you very much.